In the beginning, our hero is running for his life. He accidentally trips and falls. Before he has time to react, he has a vertical fall. He falls into a valley. Worse still, he breaks his leg and can't use his strength. Looking at the assassins who have been waiting for him, he knows he's been played by them from the start. But he doesn't have the strength to run away. What he can't understand is that I've given up everything. Why do they still want to kill me? The assassins tell him with contempt. As long as you are the heir, you will have to live with it. He also insults the man. The man was angered by his words. It doesn't matter how he is treated. How dare you insult my mother? Since you're going to die no matter how you look at it, I won't let you have an easy time. Seeing that the hero was going to die, the assassins are more excited about the hunt. In the face of the incoming assassins, without any strength, the hero is unable to deal with them. He had to resist. The assassins easily find an opportunity to knock the weapon out of his hand. A large hand reaches out to him. He grabbed him and lifted him up with one hand. He laughs and says, "You're not going to fight back." But the hero is not going to give up easily. He pulls out his weapon, which is hidden behind him, and prepares to fight back. The assassin's accomplice saw him and warned him to get out of the way. And it was this warning that distracted him. The hero sees his chance to strike a blow. So that he would never have thought. He never thought he'd end up in the hands of such a punk. The hero sees that he has succeeded. He laughed and cursed and deserved it. The others were surprised. A man with no martial arts skills at all. How could he kill a member of the voodoo group? Others wondered if the hero was pretending to be a pig and eating a tiger. If that's the case, let's do it now. We can't give him another chance. He was dealt a severe blow right away. The hero fell to the ground. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Then an arrow pierced his abdomen. In the darkness of the forest, he screamed in agony. His face was in agony. But it doesn't end there. The assassin stomped on his wound and teased him, asking how he felt. The man was in excruciating pain. But there was nothing he could do. He could only use that trick once. But it was good enough to take one back. Just when he thought his life was about to end here, suddenly a golden flash appeared. With a grunt that was just a play, the hero's assassin exploded as his accomplice watched. The upper half of his body fell into a bloody mess. Before anyone knew what was going on, turning around, a figure slowly emerged behind them. A young man in a different costume from the rest of the crowd. There were lightning bolts all around him. In the face of the enemy's attack, the man did not panic at all. Once again, a golden light appeared and the voodoo group was killed and injured. Only now did he realize that he was no match for them and tried to escape. Only to see a palm covered with lightning. He was crushed in the air. The man saw that all the members of the group had been killed. He grinned. Once again, he cursed that he deserved it. But his consciousness began to blur. Feeling his body turn cold. He was probably going to die. The young man looked at the dying man. He injected his neck and heart. The plug was delivered successfully. Then he whispered in his ear, "Ancestor, please work hard to reach the top of your life, so that my descendants can be honored too." Then he disappeared. The hero was a bit confused. What kind of weirdo is this? He had been muttering something since a while ago. At this moment, the hero's plug-in starts to activate. How exciting can it be? The hero was injected with a nano machine. From then on, he is given a hangman system. His body can repair itself immediately after being damaged. He can read a book and do 10 lines at a time. He can easily get 8-pack ABS. The main character falls into a coma after receiving the plug-in. He just woke up at this moment. It's amazing. Looking at his own body, I can't believe I'm still alive. My abdomen was pierced by an arrow. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Suddenly I was choking on the pungent smell. I couldn't help but cough. And what's all this black stuff? It smells so bad. I'm going to throw up. This is the system asking the hero if he's awake. The sudden voice. The man jumped out of bed in shock. He realized that no one was around. Only then did he start to realize. It seemed to be coming from inside his head. He was terrified. He asked in a loud voice, "Who the hell are you? What the hell are you talking about? What do you want to do to me?" The system explained that it was a 7th generation nanomachine. The hero misinterpreted it as a demon god. The hero was terrified. A demon god is a sacred fire that is the same as a demon. He was worshipped together with others. He kneels down to show his respect. He thought he had been saved by the demon god. The system says it will only help you to repair your body. I didn't kill the enemy. I realized that I didn't speak the same language as my master. Then he started to search for the ancient language and convert it. And to transfer the information about the system and instructions into the hero's head. A lot of information is being transferred. He couldn't receive it at all. He starts to feel vague. Finally, he vomits. The system says it's normal for this to happen the first time. It won't happen after a few more sessions. He slowly digests the information. And finally he knows what's going on. He is being persecuted by his half-brothers. And now he has a nanomachine of unknown origin inside him. Why do things like this keep happening to him? I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse anymore. At that moment, there was a knock at the door. It's his guard. He brought a doctor to treat his injuries. The man was shocked. He was afraid that his secret would be discovered. He hurriedly lay back on the bed and told the system to shut up for a while. The guard pushed in the door. He found that he had woken up. He was surprised and delighted. Suddenly he realizes something is wrong. What is this stench? Dr. Bai didn't care about that. He went up to check on the man's injuries. Seeing the black object on the man's hand, he was a bit surprised. He exclaimed, "This is unbelievable." The guards around him were frightened by this comment. He thought there was something wrong with his son. Dr. Bai explained that there was nothing wrong with him. Maybe it's a chance for Prince Tian. All the metabolic wastes in his body were expelled. The circulation of the 8 meridians was revitalized. It's like taking some kind of magic pill. Your body has become the most suitable body for martial arts training. It was only then that he remembered the sticky black stuff on his body. It turns out to be metabolic waste from his body. He asked the system if this was your doing. The system explained. The nanomachines distributed throughout the master's body. The system explains that the nanomachines distributed throughout your body will remove the metabolic waste from your body. The blood vessels in your body. Your blood vessels and muscles. To an optimal state. The master feels that only God can do such things. Only a god could do that. Aren't you really a demon god? He is only the illegitimate son of the demon sect master. He was forbidden to learn martial arts by the 6 sections. He was also persecuted by his brothers. And that will be a thing of the past. Now that the hero's external system has arrived, he understands the power of it. He laughed and giggled. Soon remembering that there were other people around. He quickly turned his head and collected himself. But with the technology of today's time, the system's existence is undetectable. Dr. Bai looked at the man and was silent. In this case, he must have gotten help from someone. He then told the guards about the state of the man's body. There is nothing abnormal. He just needed to recover his energy. After hearing Dr. Bai's diagnosis, the guard, he began to express his gratitude. As he left, Dr. Bai still couldn't understand how the human body can change in such a wonderful way. In the past, he looked small in stature. He couldn't even learn martial arts. Now it seems he could rival the heavenly sons of the other 6 sections. It's true that the Godfather has helped him. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to explain all this. When the hero saw Dr. Bai leave, he breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he didn't notice. It must have been thanks to Guard Zhang. I survived. The system only healed my injuries. But if Protector Zhang hadn't appeared in time, I thought of thanking Protector Zhang for saving my life. Unexpectedly, Guard Zhang shouted to stop the time. Guard Zhang pinched his nose in disgust. You'd better go wash up first. It stinks to high heaven. The hero remembered that he had to go wash up first. The main character is taking a bath. Ask the system you just said you can recover your body. To what extent? However, the system explained a lot. The explanation was too complicated and difficult to understand. The main character is a bit fierce. Why don't you try it yourself? Slit his palm with a knife. The blood flowed. The pain was excruciating. This is the system prompt. The stab wound on the left palm is now being repaired. The hero no longer feels pain. The wound is slightly itchy. A tingling and numbing sensation. The bleeding stopped in no time. The wound is healed. Looking at his hand as good as new. The man was amazed. It was hard to believe even though he had seen it with his own eyes. In any case, the ability to recover is now known with certainty. The idea that there are many other functions. He couldn't wait to try it out. The man's body suddenly became thicker. Looking at his body like this, he felt so unbelievable. It's like he's built up a grandfather. It has become thicker. The system prompted him to reorganize his body. But he didn't know what restructuring meant. He had to explain. He found it even more difficult to understand. He began to doubt what he had learned before. It was all useless. He thinks that the name system Nano doesn't fit him very well. Then he changes his name to Jirao. Then he goes to the study to experiment with other functions. The system tells him to turn the book right in front of him. He could just flip through them one by one. Although he thought it was too childish. But he still picked a book that was difficult to read. He says hello to the system. He starts flipping through it quickly. The system scans at the same time. A beeping sound is made. By the time the man has finished flipping through the book, it has scanned the entire contents. With his permission. The content is transmitted to the hero's mind. With such a huge amount of content, it was still too much for him to handle. When the transfer was complete, he almost fell down when he made an appearance. Feeling like he's going to throw up again. The system reminds him that he will soon get used to it. The hero thought the system was concerned about him. He didn't realize that the system had no feelings. Just stating the facts. The man sat down. Followed the instructions in the system's manual. He recited the contents of the book he had just read. By the time he finished reciting, he was in a cold sweat. It was incredible. It's so cool. It wasn't just a recitation. He understood the content completely. The system also automatically corrected any mistakes in the book. His heart was trembling with excitement. Doesn't this mean that he can easily master more kung fu? Just thinking about it, his body shivered. He grinned. Thinking about the guys from the 6 great schools. Must have grown up learning all kinds of martial arts. I only learned a new method under their control. In the martial arts library of the Devil's Dojo, there are secret books of martial arts of today's demon sections. With this ability, I can become stronger faster than anyone else in the demonic academy. The hero was very confident at that moment. On the other hand, because the plan to assassinate the hero had failed, the failure of the assassination plan made Gutsuke very unhappy. He had gotten away with it. Although he didn't want to get his hands dirty. But I had no choice. I had to kill you myself at the demonic academy. What is this grudge? I heard a fist or a thumping sound.